What is going on today, people? Tomcat here, and in today's SpinTires Mud Runner video, we are going to be going over a brand new mod for the game, and that is this Chevy DURAMAX, considered the Hades version. Basically, this mod recently just came out on the Steam Workshop, and I cannot wait to give it a try. This thing has such an insane frame and suspension combination underneath it. You can see the transfer case. It's really like this crazy transfer box because it has to go so far down to accommodate the amount of, the ridiculous amount of lift this thing has. And basically the power needs a way to get from the transmission down to the axles, and that's the only way they can do it. Because if they were if they were to put the drive shafts straight into a normal transfer case, the angle would be way too great and it wouldn't work properly. But I'm not going to go into anything about that, but there's oh my god, I haven't driven these things yet, but if they drive half as good as they look, or half as aggressively as they look, they are bound to rip a hole in the freaking map. And I'm flooring it right now, so it's not doing much. So currently it's not doing too much, but if we put it in low 3, it's okay. If we put it in high, it rips. It doesn't have that much traction, but it rips. Well, I was sort of expecting it to be nuts, and, I mean, who knows? It could be. I mean, I've only done very, very limited testing so far, so I really have no clue how it's actually going to react over a continuous period of time. But I will say, for one, on packed ground, okay, it's properly quick. But the thing is, once you get it into the mud, it's not particularly a mud truck, which is kind of the opposite of what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be like a crazy terrier face-off mud truck, and it's kind of tame going through the mud, but maybe I'm not using it properly. I'm gonna, storm into the water in high. Well, that worked for a little while. It worked really, really, really well, and then we hit some soft ground, and it literally just splashed to a halt. It just stopped. So there may be some correlation between really soft mud and this truck stopping, but it seems like when it's on normal ground, it's a beast, it's a ripper. But when it's on really soft ground, it's like, nah fam, I'm done. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it through some rocks and see how it does through here, because it seems to be, yeah, on anything that's not oh god, yeah, okay, anything that's not super soft, it's really, really good. It doesn't have the most flex in the world. I mean, really, this is a mud truck suspension, but at the end of the day, I mean, the weird and ironic thing is that it was made to be a mud truck, and it seems like it's great in everything but mud. So, I'm not sure. Let's see how it does crossing the river. Oh my god, okay, so it does awesome on crossings that are just water, but crossings that are super thick mud, it really doesn't like that. And again, yeah, suspension damage in Mud Runner sometimes can lead to damage like that, but it's okay because we have a couple of other versions of this truck ready to freaking go. So let's go ahead and let's put a box in this one, put steps on it, and leave the cage out. So, oh god, this one has all-wheel steer. So I wonder if this one will have different, traction programming. It doesn't seem like it does. Okay, never mind. I was like, let's see if this one has different traction programming. This one's gonna be kind of cool, though, because, uh-oh, the interior view needs some working. But, I mean, it's got, a working steering wheel, but the camera sometimes sits in the seat. So, yeah, that might be something that they gotta work on. But other than that, this is a very fun truck to drive. You gotta just get it out of the, really soft mud. Once you get it out of that, it's 100% fine. The all-wheel steer in this one, I'm sure, will make it super maneuverable. I just gotta use it in a place where that would make sense. I mean, the all-wheel steer does make sense for a mud truck sometimes, but the thing with that is the fact that, again, this truck doesn't really have the combined traction to make use of you know, make use of mud. So I'm curious, I'm again curious as to where exactly you would use it. But the four-wheel steer is still really cool, like just to drive around. See if this thing will climb just these stacks of lumber. Not quite. Not quite. Let's see about running up this edge. Not really. Not really. Not really at all, actually. Okay, so the traction in accordance to that is not great. How about we just go and, like, drive it through the woods, because that seems to be the only place where it's actually going to have traction, because it's not going to be dealing with super soft ground. See, when the ground actually, like, isn't super soft, this thing just takes off like a rocket. It absolutely takes off. Problem is, this map is almost nothing but soft ground, except for when you're in the middle of the woods. And when you're in the middle of the woods, you can't really open it up because you'll run headlong into a tree. So, it's a little tricky to use here, I will admit. Maybe not the best map to test it on, but it's still a super fun truck to drive. It's just, I think it's just not, it's got a bit of a split personality, right? Because it wants to be, you know, a mud truck. It wants to do this, like how I'm driving right now, in the mud. But it can't do that because it doesn't have the traction to do that. So, I'm not sure where the communication, or rather the miscommunication, was in the making of this truck. And maybe this is how they wanted it to be made. I mean, I could be all wrong. Maybe this is how they wanted it to be made. But, like, I mean, it does awesome on the hill climbs. It can barrel up any hill you point it at. I mean, we just saw that right there. But I think at the end of the day, it's definitely something that, get back in the grass. Or not. Now, if you feather it in high and don't just floor it, there we go. It does pick up traction pretty well. If you feather the throttle on and off, you know, and kind of let off a little bit once it starts to get stuck, and then get back on it again, and then just kind of push it forward little by little, it's a little bit better, but you still have to deal with the occasional, where it'll get bogged down. Now, on a map with, like, a ton of traction, I would love to see what this thing could pull. I'm sure it could pull a freaking house, but I think that there's a lot of potential hidden in this truck, and we're gonna definitely work to figure that out, figure out what that potential is. But until then, I mean, we're gonna have one badass truck, and I almost said mud truck, but I'm not gonna consider it a mud truck because it's not amazing in mud, at least in my opinion, okay? A mud truck is like a truck of this style that's like, you know, massive lift, huge tires, that you can slam it into high gear and just absolutely rip like crazy through whatever, like, muddy surface you want. You shouldn't have to put it into crawler gear and just slowly crawl, because why would you want to use a mud truck for that? A mud truck, I mean, if you watch any mud truck videos, it'll literally just go up, you know, go on YouTube and, you know, watch any, like, really proper mud truck mudding videos, then you'll see these things just, like, they just freaking floor it and just rip through the mud hole to see how far they can get. And in my mind, that's mudding, right? In my mind, that's mudding, and that's what mudding should look like. Now, with this, it's more along the lines of, like, you kind of have to go slow and really let it crawl for it to get any grip. And in my opinion, that's just not mudding. That's just not what mudding is. So, I mean, and I know that maybe the creators of this mod might not be too happy to hear that, but that's just kind of my opinion. And sometimes when I review mods, you know, they're not always going to be perfect, but, like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't think this is a bad mod or a bad truck. I freaking love it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous truck altogether. But, and yes, I know it's about to get completely damaged out here, but again, that's rock damage for you. Oh, come on. Let's see how far we can go before it gets completely damaged out. Go, 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 go. Oh, it's dead. Never mind. Okay. Solid orange is swamped. So, this is the red truck without any other modifications done to it. Let's run the cage and the toolbox on this one and see where else we can... Oh, you know what I want to do? Well, I don't know if that'll work. I genuinely don't know if this will work or not, but I mean, I kind of doubt it because this thing doesn't really seem to like to climb stuff. But with further research, we may be able to find a little bit of a happy medium, a little bit of a good middle ground with that. And with that being said, let's go over here to this cabin and see, well, maybe let's just turn around and go to the front of the cabin. And if we go to the front of the cabin, we should be able to find a spot to climb. And if we can find the spot that I'm thinking of, there may be a way. There may be a way to get up onto at least the side of this little cabin here. And if that can be done, that's going to be awesome. Okay, we need to back up just a little bit. Go ahead and put it back into low 3. Oh, I forgot that those actually didn't let you, I forgot that those weren't, that those had no collisions. But it's okay. Let's go ahead and put it back into, like, I don't know, low 3? It doesn't really like that. It doesn't really like that at all. It doesn't seem to be the, doesn't seem to be the overall idea of this mod. But that's no big deal. That's no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing somewhere else for a different test. And this one, does it have rear steer? No, this does not have rear steer. So the one with the graphics is the one with the rear steer. And in my opinion, it's definitely one of the best ones to pick if you're looking for something that's going to be a really good all-round truck. I think for some instances, the one without the four-wheel steer might be better, like for high-speed stuff, like if you're taking it out on tracks and things like that. But that's not really the normal use for a truck like this. Normally, the use for a truck like this is really to take it into a mud hole, but we've also determined that this thing isn't the best when it comes to mud, so it kind of defeats the purpose of that. But at the end of the day, it is still a really, really, really fun truck. I still recommend getting your hands on it as soon as you can, and I have a couple of challenge ideas that we could do with this truck, but this has been an overview and review of this particular truck in SpinTires Mud Runner. If you want to check it out, it is on the Steam Workshop, so make sure you go over there and download it and just check it out, see what you guys think. And again, it's not my mod or anything, like, these other guys made it, but again, it's over on the Steam Workshop if you guys want to check it out. I'll see y'all next time. Talk to you guys later. Make sure, if you enjoyed the video, to subscribe for more, leave me a like, and tell me in the comments below what y'all thought of it. See y'all next time.